Okay. Just removing LinkedIn because it doesn't look like it's approved on the Stanley Street business account. But we are live, I think, Campbell, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, our latest platform to the live streaming.
Yeah, well, we're having a few issues with the Instagram, and I think this is going to be, it's not going to be live on Instagram, but you can probably put it up on the Insta TV and better quality with the mics, etc., etc.
It will be up on the Insta TV. Oh, in theory, that's what I'm aiming for. So
On paper.
on paper, it should be up on all platforms afterwards with the crisp recording to hopefully mitigate some of those tech issues we're having.
This way, mate, I won't have to see you ever again in person.
No, you never actually have to come round. Like we can just add people in as we need. Last night, though, we were treated. Well, first of all, welcome to the Stanley Street unpack of the day. We're talking 5:30 in the afternoon, evening to unpack Stage 7, preview Stage 8. We got Stage 7 awfully wrong. We're a long way off the mark in terms of our predictions of how it would unpack, but my God, it was a good stage.
Yeah, we were off the mark, but we touched on the possibility of there being chaos from the start. Just the profile alone provided a platform for that, but we didn't. We're a bit rusty. We're a bit rusty, I think, Albie. We didn't even consider possible crosswinds or anything like that, and the crosswind caused big problems for people last night on Stage 7.
Yeah, it did, but it was entertaining, and Peter Sagan took the bull by the horns from the get-go, stamping his authority in a sense, putting the full Bora Hansgrove squad on the front to do some damage in the crosswinds, and there was chaos from the word go bunches everywhere, including some of his major rivals out the back, Sam Bennett, Caleb Ewan, the two notable sprinters that we talked about, especially at the start of yesterday's preview, as to our two favourites to be hitting it out in what we thought would be a day for the sprinters, but it was far from that.
Yeah, well, we didn't actually see. I don't think there's any coverage of the splits actually happening. The first part you can see on the SBS Tour tracker is about 150 odd K to go, and the splits already happened. The gap wasn't that big, but Bora were just jamming it on the front, and I thought maybe that was just going to be up until the sprint for the intermediates. But they pushed on with it all day, and then in the last 50 odd K, when genuine crosswinds started to come up, other teams got interested, and Ineos were the team that really split that front group. 35K to go, coming out of the town, a few roundabouts. After that last roundabout, they must have been doing 70K an hour.
Well, you almost...
They were moving. They were moving.
Yeah. Back to the start, though, when Bora were doing the work, like you thought there was that Bennett group, it was about 30 to 60 seconds. Like the group could see the Sagan group. And you thought, oh yeah, they're going to go to the intermediate and then they'll probably back off. But Bora rode the whole day and caught a few of the sprinters out. And then the second split, which had GC consequences.
Yeah.
From what I could see.
I'll backtrack as well, just quickly. There was a genuine chance of that back group of Caleb Ewan being eliminated from the race, missing time cut.
Yeah.
That would have been such a hard day for everyone. Everyone had to ride full gas to just make it to the finish and be able to start Stage 8.
Yeah. Also, just on the whole stage as a whole, it's like I was just thinking, like, some of those guys that weren't feeling all that flash that day, they might have had a big day yesterday. They might have been in the breakaway yesterday. Not that affected Lysenko, who was up in the mixer still at the end. But if they...
Astana had lots of boys up in the mixer.
Yeah. If they were a little bit off, I don't know. I just think back to Tour Alsace getting absolutely buckled after having a big day on the front and then having your entire stage out the back when there's guys in the hoop group at 150K to go going, we're going to have to chop hard here to make time cut. Otherwise, it's all over. Like
It's
that's disgusting.
it's
That is,
days like
ugh,
yesterday where you're glad you're not a racer anymore.
yeah.
The highs and the lows of this sport is ridiculous. Like, can you imagine what was going on in the sprinters' minds in that back group? There's 150k to go. The guys in the front are doing 60k an hour. We've got to be, doing 55 to not get cut.
Mm.
It's a brutal sport, absolutely brutal.
And also on the contrary, so there's the guys out the back getting absolutely belted, mentally demoralized, and then you've got Bora on the front, ripping turns, having like not maybe not having the time of their life, but having a good time. Like there's good energy up the front. If you make the split, you're in that front, like that front little echelon. You're in the little pocket that sits behind the guys riding. Like that's
It's a
also
good feeling when you're the
the
team
feeling
on
for
the
that.
front doing the
Yeah,
damage.
yeah.
When you're just,
Or
just, the guys are out the back and you're just on the front shredding it. It's a good
also if
feeling
you
with your boys,
yeah
with your teammates as well.
yeah, with your teammates, or even just knowing that you've made that split. You've made that split. Whereas the guys at the back, that's filthy.
But anyway, like you were saying, like we were saying before we digressed and got bogged down on that. The last 30k was very exciting, wasn't it?
Mm,
When Ineos went to the
yeah,
front, split it. There was no real GC guys that missed the first split of 90 or 100 blokes, whatever it was. But then 35k to go. Ineos in the gutter, 70k an hour. Richie Port, Pogacar. Was there any other
Lander.
notables? Lander got
Yeah,
caught out big time.
they were the three.
And it happened. It happened so quick. Like
Mm.
the gap blew out to a minute very quickly. Ineos were contributing, but then Carapaz had a puncher. He ended up back in the second group. Castrovejo ended up back in the second group. Kwiatkowski stopped chopping off. But there was enough. There was enough teams interested. FDJ, Lotto, Jumbo Visma, Astana were all pushing the pace.
How's the Wavos on Ineos though, with only three boys left? Or sorry, three kind of guys in front of Egan Bernal, and they were the
Yeah,
ones throwing it down. Like that's I don't know. It was a big call, but it was the right call in
it was
the
probably the
end.
right call. Yeah, I mean, look, it got rid of Port, got rid of Pogacar, got rid of Lander. So big tick. And that was all with. I mean, Van Baal did the work beforehand
Mm.
to set that up, but there was no Luke Rowe there either, who would have absolutely he'd be flat that he missed out on that opportunity to shred the bunch.
Yeah,
But yeah, big Wavos by them, and I guess yeah, it paid off. I mean, they'd be filthy that Carapaz lost time there. He's already lost a little bit of time in the tour, so that's just more time. And
yeah.
yeah,
Unlucky though, very unlucky. Like to have mechanical at that point, no vehicles in behind, no convoy
oh,
to
you get a
get back
puncher at
through.
that
Like
point.
it's just nightmare.
Yeah,
Uh, Super unlucky after, especially so frustrating after doing all the work. You've done everything right to make the split, and then something like that happens.
yeah.
It's not ideal business, but
Do we just want to take our hats
disappointing.
off to a few other GC guys? I'm talking Quintana and Pinot. Pinot
Yeah,
especially. My tip for the overall. These are the sort of days where in the past he'd get caught out, something would happen, and Pinot would lose. He'd be in that 1 minute
but
20 group
you know
normally.
who Pino owes a beer to after the stage yesterday? Stefan Kung.
Yeah, King Kung.
He was
He loves
so good.
he loves that sort of those crosswinds. And when the hammer went down, they were actually not that close to the front. It would have been nice to see an overview of that and see where Kung and Pinot came from. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, that's his bread and butter, that sort of stuff. And you always see Pinot on Kung's wheel in times of difficulty like that. So you're right, Alex. A big hats off to Kung.
Disappointing though for Richie Port. Disappointing for Australia. Disappointing that doesn't ride off his tour, but oh my god,
No,
it's a long way back. It's a long
yeah,
way to gain. It's
it's
such an advantage that you just can't see. Unfortunately, you just can't see
yeah, it's the
that
tour
being
though, isn't it?
regained.
Every day you've got to be prepared for something to happen. But in a way, it's probably a good thing. I mean, from a neutral to see Pogacar, Lander, and Port all lose time, it's gonna it's going to mean that they're going to have to attack. They're going to have to go on the charge, and hopefully those three teams can cook something up, and we can see some exciting racing. It probably almost starts this evening.
Yeah, there's a question that's come in on the Facebook.
Geez, man, are
from
you just on all
Adam.
sorts of tabs, just like
Yeah,
monitoring it all?
no. It comes in on this feed. It's crisp as. I love this platform. From Andy Sims, says, "Do you know what the time cut actually was?"
I think it was about 19 or 20 minutes.
Yeah, so he says here that I think it's correct. 15 minutes that Caleb Group came in the end,
Yeah.
but it was a long day at the back as we
You
talked
can
about.
just imagine the DS in the cars just crunching the numbers as soon as they're at 2 or 3 minutes. They're like, boys, you guys are going to have to be on the pedals all day. These are your numbers. Just get
Just
in before then.
squealing too when Ineos go to the front, just rip it a little more, just going, just turn the screws a bit harder.
Yeah. Who was that? Was Caleb's group the last group on the road?
Last group on the road,
yeah, 15 minutes.
15:54.
No, so yeah, time cut was 21 minutes. So they had
Yeah.
6 minutes up their sleeve, but I guarantee you they would have been riding hard all day.
It's amazing though how just the win takes it from probably an out and out sprint to the sprint
Day
is
of
coming
carnage.
15 minutes, down the track.
We're going to chat a little bit about the last K.
There's so much to chat about. And if you haven't watched it, I sat down and watched the whole thing today.
Did you?
Morning.
3.5 hours.
So good. It was so good.
I reckon if you watch the last 35K, that's
and
probably
the first. And it'd be really good if they had from the get go, from the flag footage.
Yeah.
But it is a really good stage of bike racing. Interestingly too, just on the Richie thing to wrap things up, Mollema was in his group as well. So still no clear leadership at Trek, but you would imagine that there'll be.
Do they have did Trek have anyone in that front group?
I don't think so.
Stuyven. You'd expect him to be
Stuyven.
there, the big Belgian.
Yeah.
And Julian Alaphilippe was the only man from Quickstep in that front group as well.
Yeah, I believe Asgreen was there, and when Bennett was only 34 seconds off the back, got the call back to the second group.
He'd be filthy.
Try and get Bennett back, and then they never got back. Because at that point, you would have been thinking, especially as a DS, you would have thought, you know what, these guys are just going to come back. They can't ride all day.
Yeah. Just on that, Bora did ride all day, more or less.
Yeah.
For Sagan to finish 10th. So the whole day, he was 13th actually. The whole day was about, A, getting that first intermediate sprint, and then B, winning the stage. Yes, it was nice that he come away with the green jersey, but that's a big, big day to just get the green jersey back.
Yeah. Not even win the intermediate, and then
to pick up not a whole lot of points in the finish.
Yeah, I guess the key was he must be thinking Sam Bennett is his biggest threat, and he's gone. Well, he's not here. It's another day that he can take maximum points. All the points were going to get scooped up too. It wasn't just like a breakaway was there and he was going to pick up the scraps. Sam Bennett got 0 points.
Yep.
With a large group up the front. So I don't know if you're thinking green. It also it displays why the green jersey is important and how it can really play a part in the race.
It shredded the race to pieces yesterday.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to see.
But just in that final sprint, Sagan was wild. He went from right to left, boom, straight across the road. He was chopping blokes up and then dropped his chain. Alaphilippe got caught up in Stuyven's handlebars a little bit. I think he made a bit of a meal of it.
Yeah, he made a massive meal of it.
He made a meal of it. Sagan could have done some serious damage. He just went bang. He went left quick and almost chopped up. I don't know who it was, but did well to hold it up.
So looking at that sprint, he was battling for Stuyven's wheel, which Sagan 99.9% of the time wins. He was battling against Wout van Aert.
This guy, man.
Wout van Aert didn't push him off the wheel, but it was kind of that they were both half overlapping. He got the better of Peter Sagan. That's how good this guy is. That's out of control. And it my theory is that just put Sagan off. Like after that, he was erratic in the next kind of
Yeah.
200 meters, going left, right, almost panicking, and then he's got Kakar that swamped him afterwards. See, he ended up being 3 or 4 wheels back.
It just seemed like he went into panic mode when he didn't get the wheel, because he
Yeah,
didn't really need to make that erratic move left. Just maybe take the
yeah,
wheel of Van Aert, perhaps? I
yeah,
mean, here we are talking about a guy that's won 12 stages of the Tour de France telling him what to do.
yeah. I'm
I'm
sure
sure
he'll
he
give
knows what to do.
4-hour
But
advice.
just looking at it, you're right. It seems like he got thrown off a little bit and just became erratic.
Especially for a guy that's always so cool, calm, and collected, and he's like, whatever the scenario, I can manage this. Like I can handle this. He just, yeah, it wasn't the Peter Sagan of old.
No, it wasn't. But just back onto Wout van Aert, even in those crosswinds, he was just so smooth. He was just stepping out into the wind, step out a little bit onto the left. Primoz right on the wheel. You can't say, there's only so much you can say about this guy. It's just incredible. He is so good to watch. He's so smooth, and then to win the bunch kick like that. Thanks for playing.
It's class, isn't it? Imagine being his DS, just being like, all right, Wood, I need you to be last man in the mountains today.
Yep.
Take the stage win tomorrow. Make the front clip of the crosswinds. Like
look after Roglic in the crosswinds, and then win the bunch sprint too.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Roger.
One other notable from today, Egan Bernal.
Very good.
I know he had good support, but he was very good.
He was
and he even stayed out of trouble so much that he finished 9th in the sprint.
Yep.
Like he was class. He was a Tour de France winner today.
He was a big time winner. Also, just quickly, on that same sort of note, the maillot jaune, the yellow jersey, Adam Yates was there. He was there. Jason Derulo as well, I think.
Yeah,
he was there.
Yeah. Mezgec was in the second group.
Yeah, he was there by himself, and he was looking real comfy. He was pulling turns. It was very, very impressive from Yates.
Yeah, like you said before, I don't know. It was a day that it was a Tour de France day, and the Tour de France winner stepped up. Like when that second split was happening, caused by Ineos. I know it was caused by Ineos, but you look at that, and 2 minutes later, the Yates, Roglic, they're all chopping turns. They're all in the mixer. They're around the race. They're getting involved, and you're like, those guys win the Tour de France.
Yep. So much of late, the Tour de France has been just, you got to be such an all-rounder.
Yeah.
You've got to be a big all-rounder.
Bernal, I don't know, whatever it is, 50, 60 kilos he is, chopping turns, full gas.
It was good to see.
Anything else before we could talk about this for ages? We've talked about it for almost 10 minutes now.
Yeah, I didn't plan on watching last night's stage to the end, but as soon as it started, you didn't really want to step away from the TV. So it was an absolute doozy of a stage, and hopefully tonight. I mean, boys everyone went full gas yesterday, but they're gonna have to do it again tonight.
Yeah. Oh, geez, tonight. Does tonight almost spell? I know it's a serious mountain. This is our first mountain stage.
What are you saying here?
Well, could it be a little bit easier because last night was so hard?
Possibly. Do you think it has this has kind of breakaway written all over it?
Is this like does the right breakaway go, and could this be a day for someone else to take the yellow?
Let me have a look. I want to have a look at the current GC and just to see who you're thinking. Someone
random, someone at the breakaway that's 10 minutes down.
Yeah, like a Nico Roach or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. The only reason I say that, or the reason I question that is, you would think that Mitchelton are keen to hang on to it just for as long as possible.
Of course, you always are. But this is an awfully tricky day to control.
But if they go, this is awfully tricky, and as long as Yates stays ahead of the GC group, assuming that he's going to continue to climb with them, it could pick it back up. and
Yeah.
they don't have to ride. I don't know. It's a bit of a rogue statement, but
Yeah, it's a super hard one to pick. It always is in the tour. But like I said earlier, the guys like Port and Landa and Pogacar, um, they lost time last night, and they might want to use this stage. It's a nice stage to attack on that first climb, and then it's downhill, uphill. So there's not a whole lot of valley, which
mm,
which provides a nice platform for people to go on those big long missions. We see Froome do it in the Giro a couple of years ago, Andy Schleck in the Tour ages ago. Although they were in the last week, there's still, it's only stage 8. You're probably not going to see guys putting their
yeah,
balls on the line this early in the tour.
yeah, it's got Nairo Quintana written all over it. If it was late in last week 3 of the tour,
And he was 3 minutes down.
and he was 3 minutes down, but he's been good. I was it you that tipped him in your top 3 or Max?
I don't even remember.
Someone
We have to get footage back up.
Someone put it in their top 3, and I like it a lot. He's just been sitting real pretty, awfully quiet.
Yeah. Just quickly on someone else who made that that front group last night, Rigo
Yeah,
Verte. He's in that group of blokes at 13 seconds on the GC. Bardet as well was there.
yeah.
Um,
AG2R were really good. They had numerous numbers there.
yeah.
Um,
Who you going to tip for tonight?
oh,
It's
take your ticket. I don't know.
it's a bit like that, isn't it?
Can you even take a tip for tonight? Do you think? Oh, first of all, do you think it's going to be a breakaway, or is the bunch going to go to the line? Is the best climbers in the tour going to go to the line?
Nah, I'm gonna say breakaway. I'm gonna say breakaway wins today or tonight. Who that's gonna be? That's it's a raffle. It's a real raffle. But I'm gonna go with Danny Martinez from EF. He's at 18 minutes and 57 seconds, so he's going to be able to go on the break. Has good legs. Won the Dauphiné. So yeah, he's my tip, but it's a real raffle, this one.
Did anyone from Movie Star make the split?
Yeah, Valverde did.
Because I was going to say almost Valverde from the breakaway. If
Yeah,
he lost a heap of time.
they had Valverde, Mars, and Soler. So they had 3 guys there.
Okay. Oh, I don't know. Who's going to win? Who's going to win?
I told you who I think's going to win. Raffle.
Yeah, take your punt. I think it's. I just can't see Mitchelton Scott holding it together all day, or anyone else showing enough interest after yesterday.
No. Come, mate, give me a name.
I'll give you a name. I'm just sifting through this start list.
Sifting through the GC. Oh, that's where you need to be looking.
Yeah. We saw Thomas De Gent show a little bit today in a bit of a rogue breakaway off the front solo.
Yeah. I think he's won big stages. He finished 3rd in the Giro, but I think this might be a bit too hard.
Yeah, don't think he's my tip.
Formolo?
Yeah.
Formolo?
It depends. Yeah.
He might have a role to play for Pogacar.
Yeah, it depends. I don't know what they angle.
Is there any tips coming in from any streams here, Albie?
I don't think we've got enough listeners. We've got Andy Sims is contributing really well. But no tips as such. How about this guy actually? Nah, Kamnar was riding today, wasn't he? He's not going to be all that energetic tomorrow. How about Nieve? 28 minutes down. Oh, Mitch
send someone up the road.
Maybe they'll send someone up the road. a little bit of a alternate strategy.
Yep. Don't mind it.
Terrible punt, but that's what I'm giving, that's what I'm giving the
Yeah,
listeners.
like I said, mate, it's a raffle. No one knows.
Alrighty, Campbell, that's our longest unpack, which probably says that is the best stage of the tour so far.
By a country mile.
Always entertaining as a viewer, always horrible.
Are you watching tonight, full stage?
I'll be watching the first climb and then
And seeing.
probably watching the second climb and then seeing if I get dragged along.
Yep. Yep.
Alrighty,
Cool.
thanks, Campbell.
Thank you.
Ciao.